welcome, everyone. It's 8080808 something.
How do the Chinese say it?
That's great.
Anybody remember? They have a wonderful singing way of saying
They say it. 8.
But it's a lilt. It's beautiful. I thought someone would know. I haven't learned.
Maybe we could all say it all different ways.
Celebrates
Sure.
in
Oh, it'd be
Beijing.
nice.
And the reason we're here is because of 10 years ago, many of you came to a similar circle, which we held in the house, where the living room is, and we blessed this property, and we're back. We're 10 years older.
We're here to see what actually happened in the 10 years.
And so we built, this is Jim's design, and through incredible effort and brilliance and figuring out and a certain assistance, we built this octagon for this moment. And the hut up there was also built simultaneously, and then the bus made a member of this little triad. So you might have seen the sign on the way in. It says, "For creation, go right." To the bus. That's the creative studio. It's an art studio. For vision, if you don't have any creative juices at the moment, go up to the hut, and that's the vision. And for expression, come to the octagon, which is where we'll do our sessions of groupthink and performances, concerts, just gatherings. And on this place is going to be built various structures, some of which will be stretched with scrim, like you see behind, theatrical scrim in various colors, to make beautiful cathedral-like inner spaces. We could put a big dome up. We got a little dome there that's sort of a wedding dome we bought from friends getting married at Burning Man. And there will be a little planetarium show going on in there as it gets darker. But it's a place...
and up here too.
And up here,
Yeah.
there's an actual planetarium dome above us.
A very expensive one.
Very expensive one. And
Priceless.
Priceless, yeah, it's priceless.
Going into that dome to look at a planetarium show with that is a little silly.
It's the kind of thing that humans do.
But aren't we silly people?
There you go.
so including my part of it, because we have many other parts, just saying welcome back and welcome to you. And I always felt that the farm here was a community place, and it really has been for 10 years. We built a museum, we built gardens, we raised pigs and cats, and now peacocks and running around here. Which turkeys always lived here. We built out a whole love and a whole life here, and decided not to get married here, which is a sort of strange story in its own.
Wow.
But we've held
You
many
must
of
have
them.
changed your mind,
places,
because I
right?
could swear I was at your wedding.
We had 5 weddings.
5
We
weddings.
had 5 ceremonies.
That's not deciding not to get married. That's deciding to get married again and again and again.
We eloped
Well,
in that
in order to
motorhome.
maybe today you should get married 3 more times.
So,
I think that's right.
Why not?
Let's have 3 ceremonies.
I remember the wedding that was.
Flash ceremonies.
so that was
Flash
the
ceremonies,
on-the-road.
yes.
And I think
Didn't we just have
you
one?
had
That's
you
another
wanted
one.
to say some words, and then Bonnie has a ritual for us, and we have lots of food. Please eat some of the food later on.
Did you talk about Nick?
And we haven't talked about Nick yet, so that's... Nick has a fresh minted poem that is going to...
It's not only a poem, but it's a revolutionary act. It's probably the most revolutionary act I've made in my life, and I'm bringing it here to the stage.
Oh.
It's revolutionary and paradoxical, and you'll be the first to hear it. Yes.
Almost.
So welcome, friends, beloved friends, welcome.
Congratulations, I'm alive and so are you. Good indications, we've survived what we've been through. Big celebrations, we've arrived at something new. And how? No use in holding on. This water wheel must turn. So rise up and trust the dawn. So much left to learn. wheels are turning. You know the words, transformation. Open up and receive it. Transformation, you'll see it when you believe it, which you certainly did. Now, when I met Bruce, the first night when he talked for 4 hours straight, and I said, really? And then what? I realized that I had met maybe the most visionary human being that I had ever met, and that I'd met a person who was uniquely possessed of an extraordinary combination. He visions, and then he follows through. He knows what the big picture is. He can see it, for example, and then he knows how to take all the small, correct steps to get there. Usually over my fervent protestations. As I tell him that what he's planning is ridiculous, we don't need it, it won't work. And I should just realize, as I was telling Jim today, as I was standing here awestruck, as it was sinking in, how extraordinarily beautiful this is, and how lucky I am, and what a truly rich person I am. To have all of this, to have all of you. Resistance is futile.
Big lesson. Big lesson.
Which I think most of you already know and practice all the time. And I am very grateful to all of you for being constant living reminders to me of the possibility of transformation and of the fact that resistance is futile. You prime among them.
This hut happened when you mentioned we were standing on the hillside.
Well, actually, Bruce
ago.
had been talking about a vision hut, what he called a vision hut, for some years. And of course, I thought we didn't need a vision hut, and why would we want a vision hut, and what was it? And he finally, early in January, to have visions. Right. And early in January, he picked a spot, and my outrage at the spot that he had picked and how little sense it led me to drag him up the hill and say, now if you were going to have a vision hut, which you don't need, that is it. I then left the next day for 4 months to take care of it. Back. And Bruce told me, he said, you know, do you remember when you dragged me up there and said, we don't need, and why should we? I was eating an orange, he said. Well, Hansel and Gretel, he had dropped the peels on the spot where I had. And there it is, that's some orange. That's some orange. Really?
So, but you both needed to
Can I have some of your oranges to plant at my house?
I'm up there right now.
The other reason why you're gathered here today is because the bless you is because we want to bless you. And thank you. Actually, great segue. Yeah, you know, the kids caught your timing. Because this place would not exist in the form that it does, truly, if it weren't for each of you, because you are uniquely inspiring and comforting to us. And God knows we need both. So I really, truly do thank you completely for all the ways in which you comforted us and sheltered us and held us together and supported us and held us up and inspired us and helped us. Because look what you've made possible. Pretty good communal work. So, and thank you, youngest members, who immediately knew what to do here. The minute it was created, they began to dance around and around and around. You're a wonderful dancer. And of course, she leads, he follows.
As in
So-
nature. As in nature.
And really, truly also special thanks to Steve, who has for years now, with increasing commitment and fervor and passion, taken on this place as a home that he has supported and loved and nurtured.
Fed pigs.
Fed pigs.
All the walkways you walk on are Steve's creations.
Right. So many things that you see when you say, how did you? No, we didn't. Steve. Yeah. So thank you, Steve, for taking on everything. So, Bonnie. Well, I will join you in welcoming and blessing. I want to start with just when Bruce had asked me if I would lead a ritual for all of y'all, and I do rituals, so I said sure. But I said I made a mistake. I said sure. I'll help you bless Loveland, because to me this was Loveland. The story that I know is that Bruce had been living in a little tiny cabin that Dominic had followed him to with a big tree, which we probably all remember, in the middle of it, and it was so tiny you could barely fit hardly any more than the tree except for a few computers. And, but what more does a guy need?
Right.
And then all of a sudden, a few years later, he's saying that he's buying this big farm. And then when we met Galen, we found out why. Because Galen had met Bruce and said, you need to get a farm. You need to get your hands down into the earth. Oh, you didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
No,
So this farm is
because of... But except I didn't know what I was saying early on.
Likely story.
No, but you have to understand, it wasn't that I said I want to live on a farm. It was that I asked Bruce why he was doing his avatar work. And he said, because people are so extraordinary, I want to give them another place where they can grow their visions and make magic. And also, we've ruined this place, so we need an alternative. And I said to him, oh no, you do your work for that first reason, please. Not that second reason. And in order to do your work for that first reason, you need to get a farm. And you need to put your hands in the soil. And you need to grow things. And you need to love this earth so deeply that you want to share that blessing with the whole world. And have them create magic here and then in that other world. And then your work will have real and lasting roots. Little did I know what he would make of that. But that is the story of it.
So you are the muse.
But Loveland was also the beautiful cadence that I heard every time I was with Bruce and Galen, because Loveland is Bruce's name.
Right. Hi, Loveland.
And I forgot, and when I thought, Loveland is the land, no, Loveland is Bruce, no, Loveland is Galen, because that's her word for this land and Bruce. And
so here we are in Loveland.
So we are right in the middle of Loveland, and I'm so honored to be able to share a little bit of blessings to honor some of the auspicious characteristics of this day that you chose 10 years ago. 8/8/98 was the first blessing. I had had a dream that night, and it was a really amazing dream about so many different kinds of things happening in the world, and the words that came were, we tried out all the endings and began again. And Buddhism was a keystone. But I didn't know that through the years I would become more and more inspired by Buddhism, that I had only really been introduced to in various ways, but not really deeply until these past 10 years. So one of the things that happened for me was a little bit closer to Buddhism, which is quite a keystone. And so I want to celebrate some of the auspicious characteristics of 8 is very much a part of Buddhism. So what we're going to do is we're going to honor two things. Einstein wrote an essay in 1934 called The Cosmic Religious Sense, and it was where he talked about the scientists who are really opening up the keys to nature, or really trying to understand the language of nature, feel what he called a cosmic religious sense. And this essay influenced many people, but it also influenced Buckminster Fuller, who completely embraced the cosmic religious sense, because he said there is no separation between religion and science. And Buddhism is one of those great pathways between, I believe. And so tonight, 8 is the best possible number to celebrate that. So in the middle we have Pythagoras' Tetractys, which is 10, celebrating the 10-year anniversary of all that you've done with the earth. The Tetractys was considered the divine number, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, the first 4 numbers added together.
You see it a lot in Polish bowling alleys too.
Exactly. Why do you think?
The stock of physics is coming from the pole.
Exactly. And the Tetractys is also the 10 spheres of the Sephiroth, the Kabbalah, ancient Hebrew, ancient religious traditions. So many of them do honor the number 10. So we have 10 in the middle with the spheres. So we are really celebrating the nesting of spheres, the octave, the frequency, the periodicity, the growth, the shellings. If we look just right here, we see all these little successive shellings of this beautiful octahedron with all, it's an octahedron floor with how many?
But there's lots
7, 8. It feels like 16 almost. I was thinking, oh good, I'm glad it's 8. So first, so everybody's going to get in on the act, and we're going to learn a few things as we speak.
There's 28 levels out.
28 levels, another auspicious. I'll have to look up the symbolism of that later. So anyway, I have a chooser of chosen ones who's going to help, and maybe Galen could name a name and hand it to Ella, who is our chosen chooser for the chosen ones. And if you're the chosen one, and we're all chosen this evening, if you're the chosen one, raise your hand, and Ella will present you with your stone, which will stay with the land, so we can remember 10 years from now who was here.
So bless
evening.
these. Are you ready, Ella? Okay. Sun. So, where is sun?
I see a hand.
Would you like, maybe, would your brother like to help, do you think? Would you like to give somebody a stone? Okay. Would you give one to, let's see. Oh, this one says Daniel.
Daniel.
I think I know that. It's his own. That must be your stone. That's your very own. And this one is Michael. Michael?
Here I am.
And ooh, this one is Bruce. Daniel? Do you want to give that to Bruce? Which one's Bruce? Daniel, you know who Bruce is. Bruce.
Hi, Daniel.
Did you
Is
give
that
that?
my stone? Thank you, Daniel.
Oh, let's see. Okay. Allan. Allan? Where's Allan? There's Allan. Yes, 21.
Thank you.
And let's see. How about, would you like to give this to Dominic? Would you give that to Dominic?
Thank you, Daniel.
Let's see, who do we have here?
Thank you.
Oh, how about Tony?
Right here. Behind you. She wants to look at that. Don't do this. Thank you.
Okay.
Jim.
And maybe, oh, what a good idea.
Dad.
Would you give this to Jim, your dad? Would you give that to your dad? You? Now let's see.
Doing for redwood.
And how about Reno? Reno. I think he's over here.
Here, sweetie.
Remember, I'm the guy that takes all the beautiful pictures of you. Thank you.
Pink shoes. Hey, here I am. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You gotta get an action pad combination.
Part of the act. Keep the actors. She's a director. We'll see how the relationship goes.
Let's see.
Canada. And now he has Parkinson's and he's in a nursing home and he has a fairly restricted life. And we're going to see him in a couple of weeks. And he's a blessed being, and he's been here twice. And Luke is my biological father, and I discovered him and the whole family only in the early to mid-90s. And he's had a multiple heart bypass surgery and now also has Parkinson's, and he's 68. And he's struggling to keep running his boat, and he's a sort of sea captain guy. He has an ocean-going power boat. And up in Victoria, and we're going to see him in a couple of weeks. So this is for both fathers who both been here.
And we should mention that Warren is himself a man of great intellectual vision as a teacher, and Luke is not only a man of vision but also a builder. He has built all his life. So
that's where
it comes in my genes. And a collector of junk.
Well, now I didn't want to say it here.
Should have seen my grandfather.
You collect safety.
Ella, may I give this to you? Thank you very much. Now, let's see. It says Meredith. Bonnie, is Meredith?
That's
oh,
my
of
wife.
course, Meredith. You want to put her in the circle?
I'd love that, yeah.
Yeah.
She really wishes she could be here, but it didn't work out with the timing with my 6-month-old son.
Oh. And your son is?
Leo.
Here's
Leo. Here's Leo.
Oh.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm glad I got to put him in there.
Leo.
He would love this. He's gonna have a great time when he comes to visit because he's as old as the pathways that were just built here.
Oh, now.
He was born about the time we started this project. Exactly.
So he's a good.
He died on September 30th, 2005, and my father spent his whole life looking for home, and he found home more than he ever had in the people that he loved, in every animal he ever met, and finally at the end of his life in Ireland, in my enormous Irish family, who welcomed us with absurdly open arms, and who I just visited. So, thank you for my sense of absurdity and my sense of home.
And that double rainbow that happened 3 days ago
Tuesday.
here, we think that was Frank blessing the whole crazy project.
Yes, we know that was Frank. So, this is Galen. I know her. Some days.
Okay, so everybody has their stone, and
Oh, I'm terribly sorry.
Bonnie didn't clue you.
sorry about
The blanket.
August is an unnamed.
The one that's unmarked. This one's mine.
she remained.
We will write August on a stone for you. Thank you. You are welcome. In fact, you may write August on your own stone. That's very important to me.
Thank you.
You all have your stones?
Are we
So,
Are we stoned
Well,
yet?
there's a few things. We're going to go quickly around, and hopefully we'll be able to read these. Everybody, I've woven black and white stones through the group, and these are the stones that are connected to something that is either a 2-word or 1 word that you can say out loud, and that you can think about through the music and the singing, and then I will let you know what this is. Some of you will probably be able to guess. I'm sure that you'll be able to guess
No.
So do you read your word or your two words out loud, and we'll just go one at a time.
Now, are some of the rocks black and some white?
Some are white and some are black.
You tell the color of your rock?
The color of your stone.
My stone is white. Charm.
Oh.
That fits.
Oh.
My stone is black, and it's right effort.
Right effort.
Right effort.
Right effort.
Not left effort, but right effort.
My stone is white, and it says top on it.
Top?
Top. T-O-P.
Top.
What's it say on the bottom?
Mine is white and it says truth. Truth.
What?
It's upside down. It was truth.
Inverse truth.
Inverse truth.
Truth.
Truth. No. Truth.
Pass the torch out.
Pass the
Thank
There you go.
My stone is black and it says right livelihood.
Ah, wonderful.
Good news.
My stone is white, and my word is bottom.
Bottom.
Ooh, I see that.
Some idea where that could come from. Okay, my stone is white, honey. I have it. Okay, passing the torch. My stone is white, and it says right understanding, which is very clearly referring to my understanding of history and philosophy, which I had never doubted before, but I just confirmed it.
My stone is white, and my word is up.
Okay, my stone is black and it says right actions.
My stone is white and it's beauty.
Ah.
My stone is white.
It says techie.
Right.
No nonsense.
It's right.
Right. Speech.
Right speech.
Now comes the light.
There you go.
Blinding lights.
I am the white stone. Strange.
Strange.
It looks like everybody's being confirmed.
My stone is black, and it says right concentration.
Oh, wow.
My stone is white. Down.
Down. Oh.
My stone is black, and it says right intention.
Ah.
And my stone is in spirit. So now, everybody who has a stone, keep your word. I'm not going to tell you till the very end what these mean. That this is going to be a word you can think about and try to embrace it as we go through the rest of the blessing and the songs and when everybody shares. And then at the end we'll find out what this braid is all about. So please put, if you have a white stone, and it's white and black, so every line should have a white stone in the center and a black stone.
Dominic sang a song 10 years ago that has been one of my favorite songs ever since. I love this song ever since I first heard it, and it is about as appropriate for this occasion as it could possibly be. You will hear why. So I asked Dominic if he would please sing it, and he re-strung his guitar for the occasion.
He hasn't played in 10 years.
For the first time in 10 years. Ladies and gentlemen,
get the cobwebs on.
Guess what he's going to get.
Yep.
This song is called Manageable Life, and I wrote it as part of a poetry slam that Bruce invited me to. And I didn't have any material, and I've been struggling to write lyrics, and so I think I wrote the poem before the music, which is a rarity.
Rarity.
So I'll just play it.
Make yourself a manageable life. Spend your best time with your kids and the wife. Curl up with your girl and sip some tea. Turn out the lights and power off the TV. When you feel alive, then you know it's right. There beside you is a man. All he needs is your smile, and he'll be your biggest fan. Reach out to a stranger, it might even be a neighbor. Here in Boulder Creek, everyone you meet has a manageable life.
Multi-instrumentalist. Play the Stones and guitar at the same
time. Make yourself a manageable life. Make a manageable life.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. My pleasure. I'll start back and this guy's special.
Keep coming back. Bring the baby.
I love it. Thank you.
You see what it says?
Yes, guitarded.
Hanging on your
You were at
rearview
that
mirror.
poetry slam too, were you not?
Yes, he was.
All right. Yeah.
Absolutely. Sweet.
Opportunity to do that.
Bring the family back sometime.
Yes.
I'd like to say how wonderful it's been bringing the children here the last 6.5 months, ever since it began. From the grassy hill and watching it grow and seeing the kids just run all over the land and feed the pigs and steal the plums. It's been a beautiful place to bring the children, and I hope, even though we're moving, we'll come back and see it many times again. Thank you.
And it's evolved in very interesting ways.
And that balsa wood model that you see up there is from 6-7 years ago. Jim's balsa wood vision of the hut, and it's in there, and it exists.
Yes, Bruce gets something in his mind. Eventually, it happens.
That's what I was saying. It was a talisman burning its way through Bruce's layers of being until it finally manifested. So it's been wonderful visioning with you, Bruce.
Thank you.
And many, as I was saying to you earlier, many serendipitous things. I mean, it's a whole campaign to build something like this. And, you know, many obstacles present themselves. And
you wouldn't believe it, but this morning it was a construction site still. We were constructing, decorating, and cleaning up at once.
Well, sure you would. You all know what it's like to, when it's showtime.
What is the word for that in German, Jim? Your struggle?
Frenzy?
What's
chaos?
that?
The word in German for
yeah, it was, you know, this has been my struggle to put
Yes.
this together, one might say.
You could say something different, too.
But we won't go there.
Speaking of eights, you know, 888. I just put it together as Bonnie was talking. I was thinking of the Eightfold Path, of course. And we're on an octagon.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And another 8 is the medicine wheel teachings that I've studied that have the 4 cardinal points and then the interpoints to make 8 altogether. Anyway, I'm going to sing a song that honors the 4 directions and all of us, and as a blessing for this new facility that Boulder Creek now has, and
Facility.
the manifestation of Bruce and Galen's dream. May it bring us all great happiness going forward.
Let's see, what was it? Just about 3 years ago, somewhere thereabouts, back in Time Warp. I got the blessing of meeting Bruce at the restaurant in town, and he had a few projects to do.
Imagine that.
So, started with a little drainage project, and we figured that one out and got it to work, and lo and behold, it's like it just sprouted to more projects. And vision became part of the equation, and we have, I think, compelling, visionary, complementary eyesight. And together, I think it was like music, man. It was cool. We had to do some good stuff.
These beautiful, shapely blocks, which are totally unique, is Steve's discovery of these gravity blocks, which we bought a whole truck full of.
The whole truck full. He trusted me to buy that many. I love it. That's his part. Jeez. Thought I was going to be eaten by buying all those back from him. But no, I think he's going to be able to use them all here quite well in years to come. And I saw a great vision for feeding the family too, with good gardens. And I think also just the last few months have been a blessing. I love birds, and these peacocks and turkey, the wild turkey especially, they're the most majestic. I think I love them. And they just bring like a park-like feeling here to being with this beautiful space. It's been a wonderful evolution of just creation and seeing what the vision comes out to, and also blower and dust went out the other side. It's great. So it's an honor to be here, totally for this whole family, and be part of this, and keep creating and keep putting good positive energy into this and see it blossom.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you for your heart.
You couldn't live here without it.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Bonnie, Tony?
So I guess we met more than 10 years ago, I guess. And it was before you bought this place. And Bonnie and I have been together for 5 or 6 years before that, I guess.
You moved up the coast.
Yeah, Bonnie brought me to Santa Cruz.
And Allan had said, "There's this amazing couple who are coming up the coast, and
Yeah.
you have to get them involved."
And I met Son in 1995 down at in Santa Barbara with Al, and I think Al and Bonnie was together.
We've known each other since '82.
Yeah. So there's a long
I don't count anymore.
Maybe even 81.
But this place is just amazing. I haven't been here for a couple years, and it's just been transformed into just a beautiful, beautiful spot. And Galen and I were talking about, you've built a stage, and now the music will come. And then I realized, my gosh, the music is already here tonight.
That didn't take long.
It's amazing, and I think that's what will happen. You will find that music, and my word is beauty, so beauty will manifest itself here quite well. And thank you for inviting me, and Bonnie.
Tell us.
Me, yes. Well, I have a lot of connections to a lot of you, and I'm really privileged to be here. I guess I've known Bruce about 10 or 11 years and know how special he is. And, well, I had a glimpse of how special he was. I could just tell, even though I didn't know anything about it. But now, and Galen and I have made good connections in the past, and we've kind of, just being here today is a culmination of 3 days of getting the privilege to work with them on this paradise of a place.
Phyllis and I have seriously bonded over every silly, stupid logistic. There is nothing this woman cannot do, and brilliantly.
Yes.
This is
so true.
I just returned from helping run a 20,000 stone person reggae festival.
Yeah. Reggae. Rare. She was running the all-night bar, if you please.
Where was this, fella?
This is easy, yeah.
Wait, was it easy?
Reggae on the river, right?
And I want to give my props to Michael. Michael has kind of taken on, I asked him a year or two ago to be my mentor on just living. And Michael he's doing it. And he's been such a godsend to me. I don't know if I've said that to you, but you've done just exactly what I needed, was, a little mentoring. At any age, I haven't caught on to everything I need to catch on, and I see Michael as such a fabulous example, and Bonnie and Jim and Sue, you have such a great family, and we've got to be neighbors off and on. And August, I'd love to get to know you. I've known Nick for a long time. We've had some good.
Hey, we've been on
Allan,
a film shoot together.
Huh?
We've been on a film shoot
yeah,
together.
right. Yeah, that's true. So we've had, I look forward to getting closer to you. And Nick,
Usually
I'd like to get to know you.
Usually backstage we.
Right. Yeah. And Allan and Son are my catalysts, like they are most everybody else, as far as friendship catalyst, or I don't know what you call it, but talk about magnetism. Everybody I know is a result of you. And people don't know, Son doesn't remember much, but I met Son.
She's got it. Oh, too busy doing stuff to remember
I was running a computer lab and didn't know a whole lot, and I went to Abacus in San Francisco, and Son, I was turned on to, I think it was Eva. And Eva, so I don't know how to answer this, I'll get Son. And so the next day, I think it was, I met with Son, and of course she answered my questions. And then it was like years and years from that time until we saw each other at Penny's, and then from then on it's just been...
You never told me that before.
Oh yeah?
No.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, so that would have been like in...
Before 86, 89, in that range. Yeah.
Like that, so anyway, that's my... and now I've just met Alexander and his mother and his father, and you all look like wonderful people. And so and you, what a nice thing to remember me 10 years ago.
I do, yeah.
You said, that's beautiful. Thank you. So anyway, and Steve, you're the kind of guy I like, who can actually do stuff.
All you other guys don't take that too much.
And he can even come to a potluck with a whole bunch of food in his backpack. And arrange it artfully.
On his back, on his bike.
And so anyway, back to Bruce and Galen.
So can we quote you, Phyllis?
Yeah,
You're the kind of guy I like. The guy that do stuff. Actually do stuff.
Anyway, back to Bruce and Galen. I hope this is the first of many wonderful collaborative days. I want to sew with Bruce. I want to create with Galen.
I love that she wants to sew with Bruce.
We have a whole big building to put up here out of fabric.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to do.
Let's. Anyway, thank you. What a privilege to even know you guys, and then to be included in this, and to be asked to, even trusted to do a little bit of work on your lab is a big honor.
Oh, you're in trouble now. Thanks, Phyllis. And while we're speaking...
Oh, and I have one... Oh, I just forgot to put my name in there. And also, I got to show you... I don't know if you can see this, but... Who has a torch?
Who's got the torch?
Who's got a torch?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's much beloved. Was here 10 years ago. We did call her and invite her, and we have not heard from her, despite our efforts to reach her. But Phyllis, you are very much here with us, and we hope you are, wherever you are, having a wonderful evening. And thank you for the poetry, literal and figurative, that you have brought into our lives, all of our lives. Thank you, Phyllis. Michael. Oh, yes, that is a literal, figurative, and metaphor. How about that?
Now they are, but strictly speaking, they're not.
They're not.
Now they are.
It's so good to be here. Jai and I love everyone here. We're so grateful to be part of this family. It's so beautiful. And we love being co-gardeners in this fertile land. It is a dream come true. I'm going to put our stones on either side of the psychophysical space-time mastery implement here.
that thing.
So that we may travel throughout time and space together, and because this is a stage, and stages, invoke. Oh, I guess song and dance. I am going to ask for your help to affirm what I see coming right now, which is the fulfillment of the ancient prophecy echoes in many a tongue. There's a new world coming. Well, it's been written and whispered, it's been shouted and sung. There's a new world coming. So many people in the world agree there's a new world coming. On the very last day, the faithful will run free into the new world coming. Well, each world is a phoenix born of the flame. There's a new world coming. It's singing at birth its holy name. There's a new world coming. To fly towards the sun until flaming in glory. There's a new world coming. A new world arises to continue the story. There's a new world coming. The land and the seas on the face of this earth. There's a new world coming. Are the fields of creation where the Spirit gives birth. There's a new world coming. Wave upon wave, pass that torch on. There's a new world coming. It's glowing brighter and brighter, becoming the dawn of the new world coming. Well, there's a new world coming. There's a new world coming. Oh, well, these prophecies may or may not come true. There's a new world coming. Perhaps it depends on what you and I do. There's a new world coming. That world is erupting, but all I can see, there's a new world coming. Is the song of the phoenix ringing in my ears. There's a new world coming. That's what it's singing. There's a new world coming. 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 And it's a coming for to carry me. Saving somebody. Amen. Do I have a witness?
Yeah.
So the new world is here now.
Reno, you're on.
It's the Decaro time.
So I'm supposed to be saying something inspirational?
Yeah.
You can just say something clever.
Wasn't it truthful? What was your
Mine was truthful.
Right understanding.
Right understanding.
Profound. How about profound?
Well,
It's still profound here.
let me say, okay, I know most people through Nick, actually, who introduced me to Al. And after you know Al, you know everybody. So that basically is a chronology. My mission, the way I have defined it, this part of the group has been to align body and mind of some of the people. Their mind was aligned in a certain way. I made a few twists and turns to it. And as far as the body's concerned, I absolutely had an impact. That was much easier to work with, let's say. So it's been a very interesting experience for me to meet the people that are here. If for no other reason that prior to meeting them, I had absolutely no reference point to anything that's going on here. I mean, I took my first drug at the age of 47. Wow. That includes marijuana or anything. never smoked, don't drink. And then I got seduced by MDMA, and that took care of it. After that was able to neutralize almost 5 years in the Marines and a good amount of time in the police department.
Neutralize it.
Well, it
That's
neutralized.
good. You're right. That's
Yeah, so it had a profound effect, I would say, on my life, and it made me probably more receptive and capable of understanding people that have been totally outside of my field of reference, of my my life experiences, etc. Being around mostly macho type of individuals, athletes, nobody that had a spiritual bone in them.
No kidding, there weren't any athlete saints?
Pardon?
There weren't any athlete saints?
No. It was very different people. Very different people, very different environment. And every bit as satisfying, I might say, and as enjoyable to be part of that group, as different as they are. I feel equally as comfortable among them. I have as many friends that are ex-cops or ex-lawyers or lawyers or cops, ex-Marines and so forth and so on, as I have people that, let's say, of a more liberal persuasion. And I now can honestly say I feel equally comfortable with both sides. And you really have to understand people. I truly believe you have to be part of their environment, have to be part of what is going on with them, and participate. In other words, not look at them from the outside, try to judge from a totally different reference point than they are operating from, but be part of their culture, be part of their thinking, be able to interject with what's going on. And I'm talking actually both sides right now. I have introduced some of the people here to my police friends that I've been friends with for 40 years, and to everybody's amazement, there was almost a totally seamless kind of a transition between the people, in the sense of an understanding. What they both had in common, or I should say what all of them had in common, was being fundamentally good people that may have perceived what it meant to be a good person from a different perspective, but nonetheless, when you really get down to the to the fundamentals, being a good human being, in other words, trying to do your part to possibly make the life of someone else a little more pleasant, a little bit more bearable, a little bit more, live and help live type of a thing. I think you can take many approaches towards that particular goal, and I've been with people that, like I say, have taken very diverse kind of approaches. I feel very connected with the people here, even the ones I don't know. I managed to to do that now, that I very easily integrate in the sense of kind of sensing or feeling, on a feeling level, I would say, knowing where everybody's coming from, and it's a good place, a place I feel a good amount of comfort with. I can now share experiences that they've had that I would not have been able to share before meeting anybody. What is it like to have an acid trip, or to smoke some grass, or to do some MDMA or whatever? I mean, those are experiences that if you haven't had them and all you did was read police literature of the horrors that are, that are being perpetuated on society as well as on the individual, I mean, there's a real difference there. So that has been a very interesting way to change from a life that had been very structured prior to that, like I say, starting off with the Marines, police, investigations, working with a law office, etc., and so forth. So a totally different kind of a environment, different people, different conversations, different ways of celebrating, for example, and so forth. Still good people coming from a good place, and probably have considerably more in common than they would ever imagine unless they had the opportunity that I did, which I consider myself incredibly fortunate to have had, to have become part of a different group of people that process reality a little bit differently. But nonetheless...
Nick did that to you.
He didn't do it single-handedly.
One of the great things that comes
Sure he
out
helped.
of Reno is his incredible eye for taking pictures of anyone. It's just amazing.
Well,
the gift that he gives to all of us.
The photography is a hobby, of course, but it's also a real pleasure to be able to capture the people that you care about and that you associate with. And capture them in moments where you really believe you capture a part of them. And I love to go over my pictures. I love to be able to get a picture, photograph to somebody that I've taken that I know will appreciate. Capture that moment. I'm what's called an idealist photographer. I like them to look, I like them to look their absolute best. So I will try to capture them at that best moment. So that's satisfying as well, of course, and everybody's exchanging what they have to offer. I mean, be that in conversation, be that in helping each other out as much as we are capable of doing so, and so forth. So there's always an exchange going on. But being part of the group, I think, is one of the nicest experiences to be able to. I mean, I'm the old guy in the blog now. I hang around with Nick just to make sure that I'm not the oldest. So it's nice, to get to that point in your life and still have new experiences and something that you can appreciate and that's exciting and that's new and that's meaningful to you. So for having done your part in all of that, I want to thank everybody here. My friend Jim, that I feel an incredible affinity towards, much more so than he probably realizes. I'm actually emotionally impacted by the fact that he's moving to Santa Cruz, because I'm so used to seeing him twice a week, training with me, and so forth. So I want him in particular to know that he's going to be missed very much.
Likewise.
So
not that far away.
Real quality. Yeah, but it's not the distance. It's knowing that you're going to see the person, that you're actually going to physically contact. I mean, we'll be in touch with emails and so forth, no question. But there is something about that, the seeing someone regularly that is very meaningful. And I think Jim is just one of the really great people I've met in my life, and I want him to know that. Which is saying a lot, because I've met some pretty unusual people on both sides of the spectrum, I would say. But he's exceptional. He's one of the few people that I call a truth seeker. And my definition of truth seeker is someone who's capable of going with the evidence. And believe me, that eliminates about 99% of people you ever meet, okay? Whose mind are usually made up prior to seeing the evidence. And the evidence ain't going to change it. So anyway, having said all of that, again, thank you, Bruce, for inviting us. You and Galen are just a wonderful couple, and you have an incredible place here. First time I've been here, so that has been a real neat experience. And you know, you're just an incredibly unusual guy. I mean, 20 years ago, if somebody would have told me to write a novel, I could not have created a character like that.
Reno, you should only know.
I mean, you know, that's one thing he has in common with Nick. You know, I could not have invented either one of them. So, having said that, no doubt Nancy is waiting with bated breath to say something.
Thank you, Reno.
Thank you.
The first time I saw Bruce and Galen was at Allan's son's wedding. So what, a year and 8 months ago. So that was the first time I'd ever laid eyes on them. Then Bruce started coming to Doss Gym in 6 months more. So. And so I would see him, say hi and bye. And I was getting ready for work and the gang was over there. But I feel like I got to know Bruce through talking to Reno, because we go for a walk every morning, and Reno has actually talked pretty extensively about Bruce.
I call that a debriefing.
Casebook, right?
Believe me, it's a debriefing. And he always speaks of Bruce in the very highest terms, both with his intellectual capabilities and his character as a person. So I feel like I probably know Bruce more than he thinks I do, just because of hearing of him from Reno. And
you
always
don't know me through my vegetables?
And your vegetables and your plums.
Do you know how much you can press?
That I don't know.
Hey, Michael, I don't tell her the unimportant stuff.
Oh, okay. You know how to keep a secret.
Yeah.
So anyone that Reno thinks highly of, that means they're a very exceptional person. Galen, I've really met for the first time today. And I feel very honored to be included in this, because this is your 10-year celebration of your home, and I know that's very meaningful to you. When Bruce was giving us the tour, Alexander commented to me that this place is like a whole town. Which I thought was a nice observation, because there's a lot going on here, and it's truly a home. You feed yourselves from the land, you have your pigs, you have your home, you have recreation area, visionary area, work areas, there's everything. It's a whole town here. And that's so unusual. And I think a person's home says a lot about the people that live there. And we've all seen houses that look like people just drop their hats there or sleep there, and that's all. But this is truly a home, and that really communicates, and it's a wonderful thing to see. So thank you for including us in your special celebration, and we hope we'll be back.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right.
Galen's son.
They videotape themselves.
Should I?
I think they can.
They stand out together.
Oh, yeah, a little shorter.
Do you want to say something first?
Well, first of all, thank you guys for bringing us all together tonight. It's really a joy to meet some of the old crew that we know and love for so many years, and renew our bonds of friendship and care for each other. So it's great to see you all.
And I have to tell you, the reason we're here at this place is partly because of Allan, because a tree had fallen on my next door house, split it in two in the spring of 1998, and destroyed the deck because it had careened off another tree, which would have destroyed my little cabin. And he came over and videotaped all the carnage. And I said, I gotta get out from under these trees. And so about 3 weeks later, I said, Allan, I gotta actually buy a place, because I have the confidence because of this data fusion project which Son and Allan brought, which gave us enough confidence that I could bring in a big project for the company to buy the place. So that's son and Allan doing, and then Allan, I said, we're going to let's go drive around, look at for sale signs. We drove a quarter mile from Nellie Lane up here, and there was a for sale sign at the bottom of this unnamed street.
This is the first one you saw?
Yeah, first time we saw.
Wow!
So we drove up this unnamed, at that time, unnamed street, all the way up. We couldn't figure out what was for sale. Until we got to the very top where there were some house trailers and big scary dogs, and I said, we better turn around because there's a guy going to come out with a shotgun. And it's probably not the place for sale, but we driven past this red barn and house, and there was all this junk piled up, and we just couldn't figure it out. And then I got in touch with my landlady, who turned out to be in the realty office for this place. She said, "Oh, that's Crazy Joe Kriz, and none of the realtors want to take anybody there. Do you want me to take?" Because Joe was so intense. Intense. Yeah, he and Donna raised 6 kids here from 1969. They arrived here. They were living in tents. And they arrived here, and they literally transformed this place over 25 years. They jacked the house up. They built a half-mile of retaining walls. They shaped the land. It's unbelievable what they did here. And we know them. We know and love them. We went and visited them up in Mount Shasta a couple of years ago. But it turned out that Joe, they were going to sell and go and get their own 40 acres where there was no neighbors. And he and I looked each other in the eye on that day in May of 1998. And we got along. And I'm Canadian, so Canadians sort of pride themselves at being chameleon-like, and they
I can be as intense as you.
So I became Joe, and Joe showed. Once Joe had an audience, and he wanted to show this place off, and the realtors wouldn't get past the front door because he was so intense. And so he took me back, and as soon as I went out and saw the back, I said, "This is a miracle." And I was praiseful and mindful and listening, and he showed me every last detail of what they had built. And then I came back a week later, and he threw a number in the sky, and I threw a number in the sky, and we came up with a halfway point, and we shook hands, and that was it. And I later learned that he was a farrier, part of a 1,000-year-old guild of horseshoe guys. Huh. And there's a great picture of him, and he looks like he's straight out of the 16th century, shoeing a draft horse. You have to be really strong and forceful. And he's shoeing this draft horse. And I learned later that the realty office said, "Well, you've only shown it to one person." "Oh, I have given my word. I have given my word is my deed. I cannot show it to anyone else." Wow. And so it was a sealed deal, and I said, I looked around this place, and there was mountains of stuff. 30,000 horseshoes. Oh, God. Talk about luck. He said, "Do you want them?" I said, "I don't know what to do with them." "Okay, I'll take them, and I'll build a building out of them." Mount Shasta. And so he said, I said, "You guys need 3 months to move." And he said, "Thank you." And so on August 7th of 1998, I drove from Nellie Lane up here, and
with your help.
That's right, in your car, in the truck, and I drove up here, and Joe was here, and he held out the keys, and then he drove off with the last load of stuff.
Horseshoes.
They had done 30 trips of pulling a trailer, and later on he told me, he said, "You know what? I never looked back. When we put 30 years of our lives in place, I never looked back." And I knew I'd sold to the right guy. And as I had told him, this is beautiful, I'm not tearing a thing out. We're going to build onto the dream that you guys have made. And he knew it was the right guy. And he said, his piece of advice, don't try to do too many things at once. Don't let anyone store their stuff here. Excellent.
Did you ever comment on turning the barn into a computer museum?
Well, they're pretty tickled with what we've done, and we
Yeah.
hope that they'll come and visit. And of course, I've hijacked Son and Allan here, but the reason that we're here is because of Son and Allan again. And the reason we know all of you is because of Son and Allan, but the reason that we're here on this land is because of you guys, YouTube. Really. So thank you.
I wanted to just point out that, you know, last time we were here, this place hadn't really been named yet. And kind of we were remarking on how a lot of community gatherings had been happening over at the Goddess Temple. And Nick was really intent on naming this place the Godfarm.
Still calls it that.
Absolutely. So, therefore, the thing that I wanted to share with all of you, who I imagined going around and staring each of you in the eye and telling you how much I love you, even if I can't remember the first time we met. And something about divinity, which I've been thinking a lot about. It's just my nature. I can't help myself. And since it is the 10-year anniversary of the founding of the Godfarm, I wanted to just share a few little affirmations that make me feel really optimistic about reality as we find it and as it will probably unfold. And the thing about divinity is that something created us, each of us, every one of us here, and we are like that, something that created us, but we're smaller than that. And so a lot of people have wanted to, you know, argue over what, you know, divinity is bigger than what other divinity, and there's been a lot of bad blood for a long time over stupid arguments like that and others of that ilk. And so I thought I'd describe what the working version of divinity is for me, since it's unfolding right here. Divinity is this deep, passionate spirit that is experienced by each person when they are really in touch with who they are and what their unique experience is of the world. And that deep, passionate spirit has this desire to find reality and to do something to create that reality. And so that spirit is what brings about the world that we're in, and that is creator. And so in that light, I always had this desire to be in a community of my friends, of the people that I love, and, you know, had a early sort of uprooting kind of life where I didn't feel that I had that. And I've been settling into it basically since I found all of you. And I'm just so happy that these roots keep going deeper and getting stronger and becoming more beautiful. So thank you all, and for creating the space where we can appreciate that.
Well, thank you for being the sun in that universe. Acknowledge your own role that you play for all of us in bringing us together, the two of you. Very true what Phyllis said about you being the catalysts of this family. Your wedding was the most, was an outpouring of loving, grateful celebration of the role that you play here. So, thank you. For that matter, you brought me to Bruce. You procure you.
It's a match, I can tell.
Thank you. You said he's really neat. He's been all over the place.
I believe I said he's a catch.
You did, actually.
He's fashionable.
And I knew how perfect, like there's our house over where Michael and Jaya now live, to have dinner with Bruce, which I guess you'd met through Charles, but you were having your first date
Yes, it's
with
true,
us.
our first date at your house.
First date at our house, and
Chicken dinner,
we
right?
were serving chicken. And if you remember the omen of the chicken, the weirdest thing that has ever happened to me in terms of weird cooking omens.
Bear in mind, we're trying to impress him.
We
can't cook at all, but I'm making dinner.
So Galen has this extraordinary talent. I'm not quite sure how it happened. We put the chicken in the oven, and when it was time to pull the chicken out of the oven, somehow or other the oven had been turned to clean instead of broil, and it was completely locked, and the chicken could not be taken out of the oven, and nothing we could do could get that oven opened until it was done, you know, with its cycle. And so that chicken didn't come out of the oven until it was really too clean to be eaten.
But the other part of this is that Bruce, we were so overcome with laughter. We were both useless when it came to making dinner. Bruce, you know, after a few minutes he began to realize, and you know, Bruce was hungry. Surprisingly, and he was beginning to realize that I was useless, and the son, who is normally very useful in this department, was, you know,
useless.
Powerless. I looked over, and there he was just kind of bustling around. He was looking through cabinets, and he quietly made us all spaghetti.
Wow. And he can cook.
The man knows what to do when the chicken is locked in the oven. This is important.
What a story.
And he does windows.
And he does windows.
Yeah.
So, August.
Oh my God.
Well, I have been living on this planet with all of you all my life, and a few other billion people as well. Before I go into details about how I met you all and those other billion people and a few high points, I'd like to point out another eightness that's here, and part of that is an ancient Celtic tradition. And what we have in the Celtic tradition is the movement of the camera to a primary point, which is the solstices and the equinoxes are festivals, but then the cross-quarter festivals are also celebrated. We just celebrated Lunasaw on the 8th, and in the Catholic Church, we're in the octave. On the 1st, rather, on the 1st of August, so we're in the octave of Lunasaw, which is one of the cross-quarter sections of the Celtic calendar. So that also lends itself to this.
Oh, and if you look at the moon, it's a cool quarter moon.
Yeah. It's a cool quarter, it's waxing moon, and we also have the green star show.
Yeah.
You don't have to go inside for the planetary show. That's elf magic. So I'm not really going to go into details about how I met you all. I think we've all heard plenty of stories along those lines. But I do have a blessing I'd like you to all join with me as you learn the words, which are extremely simple. All I have to do is make sure I can sing while I'm so chilly.
Sorry, we're called.
No, the extremities are all sort of numb, but I think the vocal cords will work. Oh, see how cold they are? They are. They're colder than my hands. Yeah, somewhere in there. There's every blessing on all beings. Those are the only words. Every blessing on all beings. 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 Including that little rustling creature, we don't know who it was.
Thank you, August.
Thank you. And Nick has some special event to share with you.
Revolution.
Revolution, yes, revolution. When I first came up the path, I didn't realize you had lit this place. And it reminded me of State Fair in Ohio, where I grew up, like carnivals and celebrations, like and the whirling gigs and all that. Exactly. It was like that was happening.
Yeah.
So my brother and I we were teenagers at that time. We would go to the State Fair and look for jobs, and meet the carnies. And one of my jobs was at a shooting gallery, where they were ducks and all the targets would go by, and we would load 22 rifles with blanks. They had wax bullets, and people would shoot them, and we would load them and sell them shots, 6 shots for a quarter or something. That's all it was. And the shooting gallery was owned by a guy that we knew, and he was, traveled with the carny, and his wife also worked in the carny acting. What she did was she rode a motorcycle in a big sphere. With this reminds me of it. It was a great big metal sphere lit by searchlights, and she would start at the bottom, with her motorcycle. It was a bit of cage thing, and go faster and faster around this, and then finally up and over. Roaring motorcycle and all the searchlights and blinking lights. You had to pay, something like $3 to watch her do this. And so they were just like you, just an ordinary couple.
I wouldn't call these guys ordinary.
But carnies. And they were so cool, and they introduced me to some of the other carnies. My brother and I, feeling, we were just peasants from the Ohio plains, meeting these, and I still am, meeting these magical people that came to Ohio once a year and set up this, and so this is what that seemed like to me. As you know, I'm kind of an experimenter, a scientist, and I was working at Stanford and on physics, which I thought was the ultimate science. And I learned all that. Then I took acid, and acid said, "Nick, you've been chosen." You thought physics was hard. Where do you see this? No, make sense of this, sucker. So that's what I've been trying to do. But I've got some great companions, and it's a good task. Physics is getting kind of dull. We've kind of conquered it. It's full of bureaucrats now. Building giant accelerators and things, and it's so nice to be able to work with your own hands and your own mind. With a few friends. Instead of having to fill out forms. So this science but it's tough because we don't know what the fuck. It's really at the beginning. Study mind, study deep mind, study acid and MDMA, and make sense of this in a way that we can get, knowledge, not just fun. So that's my. I need a light so I can read this.
That's the introduction.
Somebody got a
That's the
light
introduction.
for Nick.
Where did that get started?
Try my light here.
Yeah, that would be. But the thing about this planet is that people are not very many people interested in science. They're interested in warfare and strife. And Heraclitus said that's what the world's made of, strife, and he was right. It wastes so much fucking time. So this is an attempt to reverse that. I've been having my nose rubbed in politics by Reno. He's forcing me into thinking about things I never would have thought about. But my mind works even when I'm asleep, so it keeps thinking about these things. Just toss it in the hopper. So tantric jihad.
Yes! Okay.
You might think it'd be hard to reconcile these two, this nice lovey-dovey and to kill for
Get
the...
those 72 virgins now, before you die.
Well, that's part of it, yes. Tantric jihad. So, waging tantric jihad, that's what this transmission is about. I got this transmission on marijuana and the San Lorenzo Creek bed Wednesday when I was having my car fixed by George Galt, the Buddhist mechanic. He had to replace an axle in my Subaru.
It takes a long time.
An hour and a half. George is a good mechanic. Another character in Boulder Creek. So, this is that revelation from the creek bed of the San Lorenzo River, and it's called Tantric Jihad. Trying to. Okay.
You want me to hold the light bulb?
Yeah, will you? The pious Muslim bathes himself, prostrates 5 times from dusk to dawn, submits himself to hidden mystery that can be neither named nor drawn. At home, Omar recites the verse of Rumi and Hafiz, and after fate cuts short the little life he leads, he'll rule a harem full of virgins, at least 10 times 7, or so the editors of Time would have us all believe. To me, a few score virgins seem so paltry. We're talking about heaven after all, where absolutely nothing is impossible, and anything you wish, it will befall. So here's the tantric challenge of 2 cultures. Here's one place where West and East can meet. Can you invent a sexier heaven than the Muslim? Let's start that over again. So here's the tantric challenge of 2 cultures. Here's one place where West and East can meet. Can you invent a sexier heaven than the Muslim? Can you design a more voluptuous pleasure dome? Oh, Western He-Man, show me your hottest fantasy. What turns you on? Oh, Western He-Man, show me your hottest fantasy. What turns you on so much you've got to scream? And sophisticated Western woman also. Step forth. Show off your deepest sexual dream. I'll read that over again, just in case you... Oh, Western He-Man, show me your hottest fantasy. What turns you on so much you've got to scream? And sophisticated Western woman also. Step forth. Show off your deepest sexual dream. And Eli Lilly, Sandoz, Merck, and Pfizer, please motivate your captive PhDs to invent new sex drugs so hot and pleasurable they'll even bring Dick Cheney to his knees.
The ultimate challenge.
We're up to it. We have chemists and we know quantum mechanics. And we'll pay big bucks to Shogun.
He's deviating from text here.
This is the footnote to the sex drug part. Okay. Challenge our Western artists, cooks and courtesans, physicists, tailors, engineers, and Dharma bums. Dream us a heaven. We can build it. If we can build it, they will come. And read that one again too. Challenge our Western artists, cooks, and courtesans, physicists, tailors, engineers, and Dharma bums. Dream us a heaven, we can build it. If we can build it, they will come. And then the final 4 lines. Rise up! Cast off your chains, creative friends. Wage tantric jihad! Wage tantric jihad! Unleashed your deepest dreams of heart's delight. We'll show those benighted grandsons of the prophet what a truly joyous Western paradise is like.
But I want you to notice that all the while he's reading this, there's the
three colors.
well, it's not the three colors. You see the two interlocking circles create the Vesica Pisces, and you see the waxing and waning moon in there also. And you also see a cylinder. You see a three-dimensional cylinder, which is a passage you can move through. We call that the eye of the needle, if you like. It's really small.
There you go, and look, it's an 8.
I guess
that is cool.
It is an 8. It is an 8.
And
all right.
Yeah.
Alan, do you want your little
My
light
stomach is
shining back?
growling.
All right.
We have an
Okay,
amazing
this is cool. Look, it's
feast
flashing
inside,
now.
but
Those
what is
little
our
things.
next
What else
step?
can I do? Turn it on.
warmth.
Oh, well,
Warmth,
I have something to say.
I'm so numb now.
I have nothing more.
I have something to say.
Oh!
Now, 10 years ago, Bruce showed up at my door in New Jersey. And he said, you know, the farm needs you. I said, I don't really know what that means. I know I need a man to love. I need a home. And he said, well, that's all part of the plan. That's really what he said. And then he pointed to a portrait of me that my parents had painted when I was about 8. And he said, what does she want? So I searched my heart and soul for the answer to that question. And this is the answer that came 10 years ago. Death can take him away. Rules can take him away. Airplane can take him away. Fears can take him away. Love can bring him to you. 'Cause what else can it do? Love can open a door. You can be so grateful for this miracle life I see unfolding inside of me. What else can a woman do but open to you? Ice melts, cracking in two. I am falling right through. I am breathing with you. I am stepping into my miracle life. I see unfolding inside of me. What else can a woman do but open to you? My miracle life, unbound, I kneel and I kiss
this ground. Give thanks for the love I found this time around. My miracle life. So thanks for the miracle. And thank you all.
Thank you.
Before we go off to the food, I just want to say a few things about eightness. Thank you for talking about the wheel of time, the wheel of the year, the eightness of August. This month that we're here, this 8th of August, brings us Celtic cheer and tells us of all of the cycles of the moon and the stars and the places in the very tiniest spots we can only imagine. So you both really represent, and the musicians who celebrate the octave, and the builders who built this beautiful octahedron, or your octagon.
That's a hexagon.
And your octet floor, your octafloor. There are so many wonderful ways that 8 brings us to the sacred, which is what this place is really now. So all of the white stones, I hope that you find a place on the land to place these stones, and hopefully they will stay there until the next 10-year cycle comes. And the white stones represent all that we cannot see, just as white contains all the colors of the spectrum. And all of the people who had white stones, if you can remember from memory, hopefully you won't have to look back at your, if you had a white stone, tell me your word.
Charm.
Another white stone. Top.
Bottom.
Up.
Beauty.
Strange.
Down.
I have a black stone.
Oh, you have a black stone. Where's truth? Truth, yes. Thank you. So, does anybody know right offhand?
Quarks.
Quarks. Thank you. Thank you. So, in celebration of the octet rule and in celebration of the 8 quarks, Murray Gell-Mann actually drew from the inspiration of the black stones, which was the Eightfold Path of Buddhism, and he called it the Eightfold Way, which is what we see on a quantum level in terms of the organization. So in a sense, organization, for what Buckminster Fuller said, is the micro-incisive and the macro-inclusive. All black stones will, again,
right effort.
From here, right effort.
Right mindfulness.
Right mindfulness, right eightfold way of what's happening on the tiniest scale. And that brings us back to Einstein and the cosmic religious sense. When we look up and see the beautiful fairyland that you've created, where the merging of between the physical and the metaphysical, I feel like this evening you have achieved that in some really amazing ways. And I just hope that we'll all remember our stones, and that those stones will have a place in the next 10 years of unfolding as you grow your land, and grow Loveland, and grow the Godfarm.
Thank you, Bonnie.
Thank you, Bonnie. For blessings.
Yeah, thank you. And all the best on your trips to Machu Picchu.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be watching on Video Google.
Yeah,
I'll bring back something for the home.
Yeah.
Let's eat. Do we have a...
Okay, this is the party part. This is the food spread.
Who's talking to who?
All right. See, these guys are chatting away here.
So much food to eat for next 2 weeks.
Chemotherapy and such, and it was just like, I mean, it was the worst way.
And this is an amazing lemonade here too.
The amazing Jaya, cannot beat it, Jaya punch. Some of the best things in the world.
I like it alright. My dad got this pool table.
Oh, it doesn't look like much. That's supposed to be the complete joy. Standing on one leg.
In the center room, we have Dominic talking about dollar app, the newest idea that's going to change the world.
The dollar app?
Still, to me, it's amazing.
Dollar apps in here.
So Dominic has invented dollar app.
Yep,
Is this the dollar app store?
This is 99-cent apps that fulfill a need, or chill you out, or a small game that gets you going and in and out, and worth $1, but no more, no less.
Oh.
And I've got several ideas. I'm thinking I'll entertain anyone's idea. Just bring it to me. We'll figure out how to ship it for $1. And
you're trying like the iPhone apps, or
iPhone apps, Android, whatever. Who has a store that sells stuff for $1? We'll find some great application.
I see. Some dollar app for mostly mobile computing platforms, huh?
If there's anything else that sells for $1, I'll find somebody to do it. But, right now, for me, it's iPhone.
Why? How did you decide on the dollar figure for this? It's just
it's a psychological thing. We're trying to. There was a big question at my conference this last week in iPhone Dev Camp.
Yeah.
Where what is well, first off, what is the killer app? Yeah, that we haven't seen it at this random number.
Yeah.
So I'm about finding the bar and setting it, at just the right level, so that you get what you expect for $1, and you don't overshoot, you don't undershoot.
All right. Give an example, like ability to record your voice, like a voice recorder.
Right. So, for example, you could do that a number of different ways. You could record your voice and then send it and get other people's voice back. You could do it in a stream. You could do it asynchronously. You could do all these sort of kind of ways. But how do you ship that idea so that it's worth $1 and you can produce it, so you can recompensate and help you do it with that $1 sale? And that helps you focus not only on your development and how you're doing it and the simplicity of the idea.
Make yourself a manageable life. Spend your best time with your kids and the wife. Curl up with your girl and sip some tea. Turn out the lights and power off the TV.